ATI TEAS 7 Math Review. Question 1. During a task at the simulation laboratory, a lab assistant is measuring practice syringes. Which scientific minus notation expression represents 530? Option A, 5.3 times 10 squared. Option B, a 0.53 times 10 to the power of first. Option C, 5.3 times 10 to the power of first. Option D, 53 times 10 squared. The correct answer is option A, 5.3 times 10 squared. A value greater than 1 produces a positive exponent when the decimal moves left. Scientific notation uses a coefficient from 1 up to, but not including, 10 multiplied by a power of 10. Move the decimal until one non-zero digit remains to its left and count the places moved to determine the exponent. For the lab assistant's record at the simulation laboratory, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for practice syringes. Question 2. At the campus bookstore, a lab assistant reviews quantities involving study packets, with the comparing stage. A relationship has slope 6 and y minus intercept 0. Which equation represents the line? Option A, y equals minus 6x plus 0. Option B, y equals 6x plus 0. Option C, x equals 6y plus 0. Option D, y equals 0x plus 6. The correct answer is option B, y equals 6x plus 0. Switching the two values changes both the steepness and the point where the line crosses the vertical axis. Use the given slope as the coefficient of x and the vertical intercept as the added or subtracted term. Slope minus intercept form places the rate of change with the input variable and the starting value as a constant. For the lab assistant's record at the campus bookstore, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for study packets. Question 3. A planning sheet from the community health fair lists information about sample containers, with the lab assistant handling the packing stage. Two angles of a triangle measure 47 degrees and 51 degrees. What is the third angle? Option A, 133 degrees. Option B, 129 degrees. Option C, 82 degrees. Option D, 98 degrees. The correct answer is option C, 82 degrees. The interior angles of every triangle sum to 180 degrees. Add the two known angles and subtract their sum from the total. A result must be positive and keep the complete angle sum fixed. For the lab assistant's record at the community health fair, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for sample containers. Stressed about your ATI TEAS? We can take ATI TEAS for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. While working in the Student Resource Center, a lab assistant must calculate a value for appointment cards, with the distributing stage. A circle graph assigns 20% to training, 25% to supplies, 30% to travel, and 25% to outreach. If the total is 240, how many belong to travel? Option A, 30. Option B, 210. Option C, 8. Option D, 72. The correct answer is option D, 72. Convert the sector percentage to a decimal and multiply by the full amount. A circle minus graph sector represents its stated percentage of the entire total. Using the percentage number as a count ignores the size of the whole represented by the chart. For the lab assistant's record at the Student Resource Center, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for appointment cards. Question 5. The clinic's supply room uses a record to track boxes of gloves, with the lab assistant handling the tracking stage. A budget includes 5 identical items at $24 each. What is the total cost? Option A, $120. Option B, $125. Option C, $29. Option D, $4.80. The correct answer is option A, $120. A repeated unit cost is combined by multiplication. Adding the count to the price mixes a pure number with a monetary amount. Multiply the number of items by the price of one item and retain 2 decimal places for currency. For the lab assistant's record at the clinic supply room, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for boxes of gloves. Question 6. For a project in the nursing skills workshop, a lab assistant is counting nutrition labels. A total of 9.6 units is divided equally among 2 groups. How much is in each group? Option A, 4.8. Option B, 0.96. Option C, 11.6. Option D, 7.6. The correct answer is option A, 4.8. Divide the total by the number of groups and maintain decimal place value throughout the calculation. Multiplying the quotient by the group count should return the original total. Equal distribution is represented by division. For the lab assistant's record at the nursing skills workshop, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for nutrition labels. Question 7. A report prepared at the public library summarizes data about measuring cups, with the lab assistant. Convert 12,000 milliliters to liters. Which measurement is equivalent? Option A, 1.2 liters. Option B, 12 liters. Option C, 1,012 liters. Option D, 12 million liters. The correct answer is option B, 12 liters. The unit labels provide a useful magnitude check because the same physical quantity is being expressed differently. Moving from a smaller metric unit to a larger one reduces the numerical value. Divide by the number of smaller units contained in one larger unit. For the lab assistant's record at the public library, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for measuring cups. Question 8. Before an activity at the college cafeteria, a lab assistant checks the amount of training manuals, with the comparing stage. Solve 6x plus 11 equals 35. Option A, x equals 24. Option B, x equals 15. Option C, x equals 5.8. Option D, x equals 4. The correct answer is option D, x equals 4. Applying identical operations to both sides maintains equality throughout the process. Remove the constant term first and then divide by the coefficient. A 2- step equation is undone in reverse order from the operations applied to the variable. For the lab assistant's record at the college cafeteria, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for training manuals. Are you looking for ATI TEAS actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access ATI TEAS study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get ATI TEAS answer key today. Question 9. The lab assistant at the neighborhood garden is responsible for packing water bottles. A circular display has a radius of 3 centimeters. Using 3.14 for pi, what is its circumference? Option A, 9.42 centimeters. Option B, 28.26 centimeters. Option C, 18.84 centimeters. Option D, 18 centimeters. The correct answer is option C, 18.84 centimeters. Circumference measures the distance around a circle. Multiply pi by the diameter, or double the radius before multiplying by pi. Squaring the radius belongs to the area formula and would produce square units. For the lab assistant's record at the neighborhood garden, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for water bottles. Question 10. A worksheet used in the fitness center contains measurements for first-aid kits, with the lab assistant handling the distributing stage. A bar graph displays counts 17, 19, 11, 22. What is the total count represented by all 4 bars? Option A, 69. Option B, 22. Option C, 17. Option D, 11. The correct answer is option A, 69. Add the 4 counts once each, keeping the common unit. A total across categories requires combining every bar value. The tallest bar or average alone does not represent the complete graph total. For the lab assistant's record at the fitness center, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for first-aid kits. Question 11. As part of a routine check at the mobile screening unit, a lab assistant examines bus passes, with the labeling stage. An activity begins at 7:45 and lasts 85 minutes. At what time does it end? Option A, 7:10. Option B, 9:20. Option C, 9:10. Option D, 10:10. The correct answer is option C, 9:10. Elapsed minus time problems are easiest when hours and minutes are treated consistently. Checking the result against the duration helps detect an omitted hour carry. Add the duration to the starting minutes and regroup every 60 minutes as 1 hour. For the lab assistant's record at the mobile screening unit, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for bus passes. Question 12. A supply request from the training classroom includes several entries for poster boards, with the lab assistant handling the ordering stage. Evaluate the numerical expression 14 plus 10 times 4. Which value results? Option A, 54. Option B, 144. Option C, 96. Option D, 28. The correct answer is option A, 54. Multiplication has priority over addition in the standard order of operations. Parentheses would be required to make the addition occur first. Compute the product before combining it with the remaining term. For the lab assistant's record at the training classroom, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for poster boards. Question 13. The pharmacy inventory room is preparing for an event that uses lab trays, with the lab assistant handling the measuring stage. If 102 units are finished evenly during 6 hours, how many units are completed each hour? Option A is 0.1 units per hour. Option B is 17 units per hour. Option C, 96 units per hour. Option D, 612 units per hour. The correct answer is option B, 17 units per hour. Multiplication would describe a larger total rather than the amount completed during a single hour. A rate compares quantities measured in different units. Divide the total number of units by the elapsed time so the denominator becomes 1 hour. For the lab assistant's record at the pharmacy inventory room, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for lab trays. Question 14. A lab assistant creates a calculation for storage bins at the bus scheduling office, with the comparing stage. Evaluate -9 -5? Option A, 14. Option B, -13. Option C, -4. Option D, -14. The correct answer is option D, -14. This rewrite helps prevent losing a negative sign when two signs appear together. Change the subtraction to addition, reverse the sign of the second number, and apply the signed minus number rules. Subtracting an integer can be rewritten as adding its opposite. For the lab assistant's record at the bus scheduling office, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for storage bins. Question 15. Information collected in the community kitchen describes how classroom chairs are being used, with the lab assistant handling the packing stage. A rectangle has a perimeter of 68 centimeters and a length of 16 centimeters. What is its width? Option A, 2.1 centimeters. Option B, 50 centimeters. Option C, 52 centimeters. Option D, 18 centimeters. The correct answer is option D, 18 centimeters. The rectangle perimeter formula counts each length and each width twice. Divide the perimeter by 2 to obtain one length minus plus minus width pair, then subtract the known length. Subtracting the length from the full perimeter would leave 3 sides rather than one width. For the lab assistant's record at the community kitchen, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for classroom chairs. Question 16. A schedule at the medical records office includes a numerical condition involving survey forms, with the lab assistant handling the tracking stage. A scale drawing uses 1 inch. To represent 3 feet, a length measures 12 inches. On the drawing, what is the actual length? Option A, 15 feet. Option B, 432 feet. Option C, 36 feet. Option D, 4.0 feet. The correct answer is option C, 36 feet. Multiply the drawing measurement by the actual amount represented by each drawing unit. A scale drawing creates a proportional relationship between drawing length and actual length. Dividing would be appropriate when converting an actual length back to the smaller drawing. For the lab assistant's record at the medical records office, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for survey forms. Question 17. The lab assistant compares 2 records about workbooks in the science laboratory, with the labeling stage. Estimate 64 plus 73 plus 27 by rounding each addend to the nearest 10. Option A, 164. Option B, 200. Option C, 130. Option D, 160. The correct answer is option D, 160. Estimation simplifies the addends before calculation to obtain a nearby, reasonable total. The estimate should be close to the exact total but is not expected to match it in every case. Round each value to the requested place and add the rounded numbers. For the lab assistant's record at the science laboratory, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for workbooks. Question 18. A quality check in the Career Center requires a calculation involving name badges, with the lab assistant handling the ordering stage. There are 6 boxes with 15 units each. After 13 units are used and 4 loose units are added, how many units are available? Option A, KD1. Option B, 99. Option C, 16. Option D, 12. The correct answer is option A, 81. Multiply the number of boxes by the units per box, subtract the amount used, and then include the loose additions. Applying the subtraction inside every box would remove the used amount repeatedly instead of once. The grouped inventory must be calculated before later increases or decreases are applied. For the lab assistant's record at the Career Center, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for name badges. Stressed about your ATI TEAS? We can take ATI TEAS for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. The volunteer clinic has set a target related to digital thermometers, with the lab assistant handling the budgeting stage. Which ratio is equivalent to 8:6? Option A, 12:10. Option B, a 24:32. Option C, the 32:24. Option D, 32:30. The correct answer is option C, 32:24. Adding the same amount to both terms does not generally preserve the ratio. Equivalent ratios preserve the same multiplicative relationship between their terms. Multiply or divide both parts by the same non-zero factor. For the lab assistant's record at the volunteer clinic, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for digital thermometers. Question 20. A lab assistant uses a table to monitor supply cartons at the campus mailroom, with the comparing stage. Which value is equivalent to 10 to the power of 6th? Option A, 1 million. Option B, 604,66176. Option C, 100,000. Option D, 60. The correct answer is option A, 1 million. The exponent counts factors rather than serving as a multiplier. Expand the power as repeated multiplication by 10 to determine its place value. A power of 10 is 1 followed by as many zeros as the exponent indicates. For the lab assistant's record at the campus mailroom, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for supply cartons. Question 21. An activity log from the health education booth contains values for meal portions, with the lab assistant handling the distributing stage. What is the slope of the line through 1, 2, and 3, -2? Option A, -4. Option B, -2. Option C, -1. Option D, -0.5. The correct answer is option B, -2. Slope compares vertical change with horizontal change between 2 points. Subtract the y- coordinates in the same order as the x- coordinates and divide the changes. Reversing only one subtraction changes the sign, while reversing both leaves the ratio unchanged. For the lab assistant's record at the health education booth, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for meal portions. Question 22. The lab assistant is revising a plan for index cards in the school auditorium, with the tracking stage. Using 3.14 for pi, what is the area of a circle with radius 4 inches? Option A, 25.12 square inches. Option B, 50.24 square inches. Option C, 200.96 square inches. Option D, 12.56 square inches. The correct answer is option B, 50.24 square inches. Multiply the radius by itself and then by pi. Circle area depends on the square of the radius. Using diameter in place of radius without adjustment makes the computed area 4 times too large. For the lab assistant's record at the school auditorium, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for index cards. Question 23. A short report from the Home Improvement Project presents a mathematical problem involving folders, with the lab assistant handling the labeling stage. The values are 10, 12, 12, 15, 17, 12. What is the mode? Option A, 14. Option B, 7. Option C, 13. Option D, 12. The correct answer is option D, 12. The mode is the value appearing most frequently. A dataset can have no mode or more than one mode, but this set has one clear repeated value. Count the occurrences of each distinct value and identify the greatest frequency. For the lab assistant's record at the Home Improvement Project, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for folders. Question 24. The apartment laundry room must adjust its plan for tickets, with the lab assistant handling the ordering stage. A purchase subtotal is $55 and sales tax is 7%. What is the total after tax? Option A, $62. Option B, $48. Option C, $58.85. Option D, $3.85. The correct answer is option C, $58.85. Multiply the subtotal by the tax rate to find the tax, then add that amount to the subtotal. The final total should exceed the subtotal but by much less than the full price when the rate is small. Sales tax is added as a percentage of the taxable subtotal. For the lab assistant's record at the apartment laundry room, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for tickets. Question 25. A calculation is needed before exercise bands can be prepared at the farmer's market, with the lab assistant handling the budgeting stage. What is 40% of 120? Option A 80. Option B 48. Option C 300. Option D 160. The correct answer is option B, 48. The resulting part should be smaller than the whole whenever the rate is below 100%. A percent of a quantity is found by multiplying the whole by the rate written as a decimal. Move the decimal point 2 places left in the percent and multiply by the reference amount. For the lab assistant's record at the farmer's market, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for exercise bands.